The Defence Ministry is taking measures to cut costs where it can, but without compromising its ability to combat threats as the impact of COVID-19 hits hard. The pandemic has also affected supply chains, delaying the delivery of some of its acquisitions. This year's 1st July SAF Day will be commemorated in unusual circumstances, right in the midst of a global pandemic. Faraz Juraimi has more.
Defence Minister Ng Eng Hen says the pandemic has stress-tested every facet of society, economies and international relations. And with Singapore's economy facing uncertainty in the immediate future,
we will continue to be prudent in our spending. But I think all of us know that we will have to tighten our belts for this year, even the next, even 2022, until the economy fully recovers.
But Dr. Ng says there's a continued need for a strong SAF. The Navy's Maritime Security Task Force now includes 2 operational units, one for security operations like patrols and escorts, and the other to defend and enforce security against threats at naval bases and installations. The task force has added 4 patrol vessels and they will go into operation soon. Plans to restructure the task force had been announced earlier this year to tackle the rise in piracy. On the acquisition front, Dr. Ng says the 4 F-35Bs are still expected to be delivered around 2026. The Navy's 6 multi-role combat vessels are also expected to be delivered by 2030. But the pandemic has affected some supply chains for certain acquisitions. The first of 4 Invincible-class submarine will only arrive from Germany in 2022 instead of next year, as well as the CH-47Fs and H-225M helicopters, which are now expected to be delivered next year instead. Overseas training will gradually resume. Next month, the Navy's RSS Supreme will set sail for Hawaii to participate in Exercise RIMPAC. Training projects in the Shoalwater Bay training area in Australia remain on track to start this year. It contains combined arms air-land ranges and urban operations live firing facilities and urban operations facilities. On the international front, Dr. Ng says COVID-19 has revealed the extent to which countries place the national interest above others. This has resulted in a more uncertain external environment, most notably the heightened contestation between the US and China. Singapore, he adds, will be acutely impacted by this in both trade and security.
And as a small country, we know it takes very little to tip us over. So for the SAF, we need to be alert, to be strong, to defend our sovereignty and national interests. We don't want to be caught in between big power rivalry or be forced to choose sides. We want to be useful and friendly to all. We want to work with like-minded partners in ASEAN and around the world to uphold a global system that is based and thrives on openness, inclusiveness, connectivity, trade, cooperation, respect for international law, and non-aggression.
Dr. Ng says he's looking forward to meeting with both Chinese Defense Minister Wei Fenghe and US Secretary of Defense Mark Esper in China later this year.